Hello, everyone. Good evening to the attendees. My name is Shanaz, and I'm the manager for university partnerships at upGrad Abroad. And I can tell you that I think I speak on behalf of the whole department when I say that we are very thrilled to announce our partnership with Rennes School of Business in France, which is a triple accredited business school. And we're also very honored, of course, to have here with us Maud. Maud is the South Asia area manager of Rennes School of Business, and she's also the conseillère du commerce extérieur in France, which basically means that she is an advisor of foreign trade affairs to France, appointed by the Prime Minister of the country and the former chairman of the Higher Education Committee of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce. She is also the awardee of the prestigious Women of the Year award, and she has developed quite some innovative collaborations over time with Indian universities and bilateral exchanges between France and India. So she's definitely been a key player when it comes to this collaboration between Rennes School of Business and upGrad. Welcome, Maud.
Thank you very much, Chinez. We are equally thrilled to be in a collaboration now with upGrad. It's an honor, and I really think that a long way is built, a long bridge is built for our two countries to collaborate. Thanks to you guys. And so I want to thank also all the audience for being here today and listening to us. So yes, I mean, as you have introduced me, I mean, my role is for sure to develop the relationship of Rennes School of Business with India, but also to work on those bridges and work of the international training of the youth. That's part of the role that the Prime Minister of France gave me when he nominated me. So we are all here for that.
I think you're probably the best person to do this webinar with us today. So thank you so much for your time and being here with us.
With pleasure. So normally I'm in India. Today I'm in fact speaking to you guys from France. I will be in Rennes tomorrow. I'm French though. I'm an alumni from Rennes School of Business. But I'll be happy to tell you more about the school. I mean, France as a place to study, France and Europe, because it's probably something pretty new for all of you. Shall I share my presentation, Shinez?
Yes, please. Yes, you may start. Yes, definitely. And if you have any questions, attendees, if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat box, and we will be answering the questions live, or I will just send you a message in the chat.
Great. So I will try to make it a bit interactive, and I won't ask you to speak, but you can use the chat to answer the few questions that we'll have along the this program. But really, I want to convince you that Europe and France are a place, a great place for you to choose for your studies. Then to tell you how Rennes is a good choice, and particularly through the pathway with upGrad, and that allows you to start from India and then finish in Rennes School of Business. So we'll look at all of this in details. If you have further questions, I see someone has raised the hand, so I don't know if we can allow this person to speak if you want, or do you prefer that
if you have any questions, you may use the chat box.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, so I'll start by asking you showing you a few figures. It's always good to know scales. All right. Did you know that European Union is slightly smaller than US? I don't know if you were aware of that. It's a bit smaller, as you can see from that map over there, but it's more populated by 120 million people more than US. So smaller and more concentrated. India, on the other end, is slightly smaller than European Union and much more populated. Okay. Now, European Union is the second or third zone in the world for the GDP. Okay. And France, if we're talking about France itself, is the seventh biggest economy in the world. India is fifth and should be reaching third, But being so populated and so big, you know, it's quite normal that it grows, it goes to those kind of places. That's all we are hoping for India. So I think it's nice to see that, because sometimes we think that America is so big and so populated, but indeed not so much. It's much less dense than Europe, and even much less than dense than India. And India is more or less the same size as the US would be. So, you know, I mean, smaller, slightly smaller, but yeah, this is interesting, I think, to see. That means one, then it means that there is you have a lot of economic you know, capacity in Europe. Still a lot of space, because we are not as populated as India, so there is place for you to come, and it's a place where you're not going to feel that there are fields and fields around you, and you feel alone in the middle. In case you had that impression. If you look at that, thinking of Europe, what do you think would represent mostly the population over there? I'd love you to tell me which of those 4 groups would be representing the most population we'll have in Europe. France also, but in Europe in general. I'll let you use the chat for that. Do you think it's the single old man over there, the group of teenagers on the side, the group of you know, adults and middle-aged people down there, or the babies over there? What do you think it is?
This is a very interesting question. I'm curious to know about your answer.
So I don't see anyone using the chat. I mean, we're not going to single you out. Don't worry. It's just, and there's no, it's not a big deal. If you don't know, it's okay. We're here to learn. All right.
Oh, maybe you can tell us more.
upGrad can also use it if you want to try out. No, nobody wants to try. Okay, no problem.
Oh, we have an answer. We have an answer. The older population.
Okay, exactly, the older population, and particularly the top one, that single man over there. This is what represents is the population that is the demographic that is mostly represented in Europe, and that's important to know, because according to the World Economic Forum and to quite many other reports that have come since 2020, by 2030, the population would have aged so much in Europe that we would need about 11 to 13 million, it depends on the reports, to get into the workforce, which we would not find from our own populations. We will need to get people to come and take those jobs. And at the same time, that's the crazy thing, by that time, there will be, and we were talking about during the COVID-19 in early, you know, mid-20, June 20, they said that even if we were not recovered from COVID at that time, by 2030, there would still have been 3% of job increase in Europe. And currently, because of all the transformations that are happening in Europe, in the economy, so the green transition, for instance, that we're facing, which means a lot of investments are done, the reindustrialization that the COVID has particularly you know, triggered, because you need sovereignty in quite a lot of, and if we were not able to produce our own medicines, that's a problem. And in the COVID, there's a lot of work that has been done in Europe for that, but not only, they're also using the latest technology to bring back the industries to Europe, to France in particular. But that means that we need to retrain people. 25 to 40% of the current working population will need to reskill. So imagine if you come and yourself will be getting a degree over there, you are likely to get a great opportunity, obviously. So this is what it means. The World Economic Forum says as well that there would be jobs that would be destroyed in Europe, for sure. And those would be the jobs that do not require a lot of training, in fact, a lot of degrees. If you don't have a university degree, yes, you're twice as much likely to be affected by those job destruction, and clearly not much affected if you are with a university degree. There will be a lot of jobs. We need people in Europe. For the moment, the projection is by 2030, so tomorrow, and by the time you will be done with your degree, so plenty of opportunities. So I think this is good news to start. There are a lot of possibilities. Now let's look at France in particular, and I mentioned Europe. Because France is part of Europe, is in the center of the European Union and the European Union building. It's one of the country of Schengen. One of the beauty of coming to France as a student is that you not only access France, you access the Schengen zone. There are 27 countries in which you can travel during your studies 3 months every 6 months, which means, without having to apply for another visa, which means 27 countries that are your playground to look for, internship, part-time job at some point, because you'll have summer period as well. So you could also use that to do some work. And after your degree, to find opportunities. So a lot of possibilities. But
a lot of students
just focus on France now.
Sorry. A lot of students take this opportunity. Sorry.
Yes,
a lot of students take this opportunity because you access more than France while you're studying in France. You have access to the whole Schengen area for holiday purposes. A lot of students travel. Of course, we have breaks to also, take some time, take a pause from the academic curriculum, which a lot of students make use of to just travel around and, explore the region.
Exactly. And in fact, I mean, if you remember, I told you that the European Union is slightly bigger than India. And France itself is the size of Karnataka. That superficie and population is exactly the size of Karnataka. So we're talking about, taking advantage of a territory that is slightly bigger than India, but where to go from one place to the other, one state to another, you don't have to stop your car, go and pay your toll tax, and then move on. You can travel back and forth without anyone checking any of your papers. That's what we're talking about. So it's a great opportunity for travel, but also for the opportunities that you will be getting offered this way, including English-speaking opportunity, because I know that the French language is a question, and I'm going to cover that in a minute. So now, why France otherwise? But first, because France is the place where you'll get worldwide recognized excellence in academics, in management. In fact, if you look at the Financial Times ranking for the past 7 years at least, 1 out of 4 of the top 100 masters in management in the world, they are from French schools. That's what we're talking about. We have, as a local competition, schools that you probably have heard of, which are HEC, ESSEC, INSEAD. I'm sure that you have heard at least one of those, which are in the top 3. I mean, all of them regularly for quite many years have been in the top 3 in the world. It's like having not only I am Bangalore, but I am Ahmedabad and I am Kolkata, all of them in Karnataka. So imagine the impact on the rest of the education in Karnataka if all those 3 top schools were there. You already have excellent schools in Bangalore and in Karnataka, and don't get me wrong, but it's just that it's really bringing everyone to excellence. Rennes School of Business is one of those schools that are in the top 100 in the world, of course. But that means you have access to this excellence of academics, and that should be the very first reason to choose a country, I think, for studies. If you are doing a master, not a bachelor, you get 3 years post-study visa. Beauty with us that you could do your 3 years bachelor, 1 year in India, 2 years in France, and then a 1 year and 3 months master in Rennes School of Business, and still get those 2 years post-study visa, which is the time it would take you to just get a bachelor from quite a lot of countries around the world. Okay, you're getting into a country that is very welcoming to students from around the world. So country the size of Karnataka, 4 lakh international students in 2022 overall, only 10,000 from India, but still 10,000 from India. And that means, I mean, the rest of the world is already convinced. So we just need you to be convinced as well. There are plenty of reasons. The quality of education for sure, but also because visa is not that complicated to get for genuine students. And because the policies are pretty generous to students. So if you are less than 28-year-old, you are sure to get the public health system for free. You would go to UK, for instance, today, 75,000 rupees approx a year you would have to pay to access the NHS. That's since the Brexit, they have made it that expensive. In France, it was before, it's still today 100% free for you to access hospitalization for free. And if you go to see a doctor or to you get to prescribe medicines outside of the hospital, you still get at least 70% of what you spend there reimbursed by the French government. Pretty nice. On top
Maud,
of
I
that,
have
if
a
you're less
question.
than 28, yes, please.
Sorry, sorry to interrupt you. I actually have a question. When you just mentioned about the post-study work visa after completing masters, could you maybe elaborate a bit more on that, the exact duration process, but also the opportunities that students would have after completing their bachelor's?
Okay, sure. So the post-study stay visa, it's a stay visa that is for 3 years just for Indian students and for the nationalities. The others get only 1 year. Okay. And that's after master, as you were mentioning, and that allows you to to stay, work part-time. So when I say part-time, it's 940 hours a year. So that's either 20 hours per week on average, or full-time for a bit more than 6 months. So enough for you to convince, so first to sustain yourself, but also to convince a company to test you out, on a short-term basis before they support a work permit. And that's just France. During this time, you're still allowed to travel around the Schengen zone for 3 months every 6 months. So to look for other opportunities over there. Okay, that's how it works.
All
right.
Yes,
so,
thank you.
Yeah. So about the benefits, so I mentioned the public health system, but there is another one. If you're less than 28-year-old, you're entitled to the same benefits as domestic students, which is an accommodation allowance that represents 30% of your rent reimbursed on a monthly basis by the French government. So let's say you pay 450 euros per month, which is a possibility in a Rennes campus. 150 euros would come back on your account on a monthly basis. That's what we're talking about. I don't think there are a lot of countries that are that generous with students, and that's something you should definitely take advantage of. Okay. Another thing is that, yes, you're allowed to work part-time in France as a student, 20 hours per week on average. I clearly would discourage you to consider that in the first year of studies in a school like Rennes, because that would mean like, I don't know if you're aware of the triple accredited school in Europe, in India. There are 100 in the world, 3 in India, which are IIM Kolkata, ISB, and IIM Indore. So if you were accepted in one of those schools, I doubt you would dare working part-time on the side while studying. But, here, it's not that I don't want you to do it at all. It's just the first year to try to avoid it. In any case, you will have to do 2 internships once you are in France. And if you are in Rennes School of Business, if you are doing your internship in France, you are paid by law. But to do not French fries making expertise like in a McDonald's, like in many countries, but to do something that is meaningful for you to build your CV, working in finance, working in marketing, working in whatever, management kind of role or business kind of role you're interested in, and be paid to do so while learning and while building a CV. That's what we're talking about. The minimum pay is 570 euros per month. So that's pretty interesting, and that could replace a part-time job easily. You have the time to do it with this program. It's in fact required. Another advantage of coming to France is that not only France has a very strong relationship with India, that's the reason why you guys get, a better post-study stay visa option than other nationalities, but it's also because France is investing a lot in India. If you look at the Make in India website, you would see 5 countries represented there as the most most active foreign countries in making in India, so in creating jobs in India. France is one of them. And in fact, you'll find another one that is from the Schengen zone, another good reason to go for Schengen, Germany. So you have France, Germany, US, you have Japan, and you have UAE. So good to know. That means that if you have studied in France and at some point you want to come back to India, there are a lot of companies, French companies, that will be interested in you. And more of Indian companies are coming to France, because France has been, for the past 4 years, it's been true also for 2022, the first country for foreign investment in Europe, and that includes UK. So this is the place that foreign companies prefer when investing in Europe. Okay, that means Indian companies included, and they would be interested in profiles like yours that are interested in that are capable of building the cultural bridges between our 2 countries. Okay, so a lot of good reasons to come to France. Is French mandatory? No. It's not mandatory. You will see that to study in Rennes School of Business, you don't need French at all. And if you can read what's on that slide, then you can read all the signs in France, because it's the same alphabet as English. Unlike, I don't know if you're from where you are all, but I know my husband is from Rajasthan, and we both moved to Karnataka, and we've been also in Tamil Nadu, and he cannot read most of the signs there. And it's in his own country, and he's not afraid of going there, though, even the Hindi is not necessarily spoken there, or English neither. So in France, not only you can read everything, but also there are a lot of aunties like me that you will meet in the streets that have been, teenagers when Schengen was created, so have improved the English language very much, would appreciate that you say greetings in French, but then move to English, and would be able to answer you, no problem. Now, look at the opportunity you're having. So you can study there without French, absolutely no problem. It's not required for visa, neither. But look at the opportunity you're having here. You're going to a country where the language is spoken officially as first language in 32 countries around the world, 50 as first or second language. So if you are learning French, if you become fluent by being in the country at the end, after 2 years in the country, there's a possibility you achieve that. Imagine the opportunities you're having. There are 50 countries in which you can communicate. Okay, it's 30 bonus points to get a visa for Canada. So you get ahead of doctors with French. You want to work for the Olympic Games. Guess what? 2024 is the Olympic Games in Paris. So big advantage if you speak French. If you want to work for UN organizations, yes, if you speak French, big advantage. So it is an opportunity, not a constraint. Okay. So I'll go a bit further to give you an idea of the kind of occupation that are, that are in need in the future. So you have managers that you can see. So STEM professionals, I think it's not a big, surprise. That's particularly true in the US, but in France and Germany as well, health professional as well, but managers everywhere. There is a growth that is expected, even in India. So you'll be doing a management bachelor obviously there's a lot of interest here, and it would be less in all those elements. So creative and art management, which is something that we also trigger a lot in our school, is something you could be also developing. So a lot of interest here. If we're looking about France only, the future of work in Europe first, and in France in particular, you see that we are having the objective of full employment by 2025. That means 5% of an unemployment only in the country. That's when, that's why we have, for instance, currently a lot of discussion around the fact that we want people to work 2 years more because we can't afford not to do it. There are already a lot of jobs that are a lot of companies that have trouble to open because they don't find the staff. So we need extra time. And we are at the lowest unemployment rate since 2018 right now. And we are, it's going to get better and better, or worse and worse, depending on what you're looking at. That means that there is a war on talent right now in France, and it's only going to get stronger and more competitive for companies to recruit the right people. So it's the right time to come to France and to Europe, clearly. If we're looking at another source of information, for France only, 1.8 million jobs for higher education graduates are planned to be created between 2019 and 2030. That's because of all the projections done by the investment in France. So they are in each and every aspects. Of course, helpers, teachers, the health sector is very much there. But if you look at it, administrative and financial managers would be there, sales manager and professionals. We'd be looking for computer engineers, but even less than we would be for sales manager and financial manager. Yeah, there's quite a lot of people that we're looking for, and in various topics, clearly the ones that are targeted by this bachelor. So a lot of opportunities for you, in fact. Okay,
Maud?
So let's go into Rennes now. Yes?
Maud, sorry, I have another question actually. Could you maybe go back to the previous slide and tell us a bit more about the bifurcation in colors? So there's an orange bit and a blue bit. I'm not able to see it on the screen. I think it's just
okay.
off.
So sure, it's in French. That's why, which is funny because they've put the that's on the French website. So if you see the orange part is for all the people that are leaving for retirement. Okay, so these are jobs that are currently already there, but where the people won't be available anymore. And the blue ones are creation, new jobs.
Wow.
The blue are the completely new jobs. So the combination of two, that's quite a lot of people that are needed.
Large number, large number.
Yes, it's a large number.
Wow.
Which is great.
Yes.
Great for our audience. So if I go on, so let's me tell you why Rennes would be a great place for you to study. So we are a pretty young school. We were created in 1990. 1991 was our first anniversary. That's why it's mentioned here. And it was created by the local chamber of commerce, so by companies of the region, northwest of France. At that time, early 90s, when the Stranger Things was going on, if ever you've been watching this serial, the place was very much agribusiness oriented or data oriented already at that time. So these are two sectors that are very much export oriented, and that's why from day one we wanted to develop international talent locally. And that's why from day one we started recruiting professors from abroad and to start having partnership with universities from all around the world and started exchanges. You can see that we have a lot of Indian alumni from the bachelor and the master side. Here are two examples that you can see, Rajas and Parth over there, who even played the French Cup when he was with us. He had, he was good enough to play District 3 level though, because that year we were still worldwide champion, but still that's quite commendable. a lot of Indian students have studied with us. On average nowadays, it's 200 a year that come to study with us. So that means that you will not be alone, but that doesn't mean that you will feel that you brought all Maharashtra with you when coming to Rennes School of Business. They're coming from all around India. All right, so you can find all their testimonials and the various support that you can have. We are very student friendly. If you want to have more, I mean, you can listen to me, but if you want to have feedbacks from the students themselves, we have an Instagram page called Take Me to Rennes SB. I'm inviting you to follow there and to interact with the students that are available there. Right. So a very international, friendly campus, the most international in Europe. In fact, 95% of our faculty today are international. They're coming from 48 different countries. We have professors from Russia and Ukraine, which is quite interesting. You can imagine today. We have professors from China, from Australia, from Korea, Vietnam, from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And that should not be a problem because anyway, that's how it is over there. We have professors from the Middle East, from different countries in Africa, from Brazil, Colombia, US, Canada, and of course, Europe. That means that we teach in English and in English only, 100%. That means also it's going to have a global perspective on things and not just European centric. Okay. 55% of our students are international. That's overall 100 nationalities represented on our campus. So clearly a great place to start your journey to Europe. With modern facilities, and we have everything you would need. I mean, if you were there, you had been there the last weekend, you would have seen the crazy sport competition that happened in Rennes with other schools from France. 3 days carnival over sport, so a lot of options there to practice. We have audiovisual systems. We have a music studio. We have everything you need to have a great time. If you are interested in learning how to trade, we have a Bloomberg training facility that is available for you. A lot of association you can be volunteering in. We are a school of excellence. I mentioned the kind of competition we had and the fact that we are a triple accredited school. I'll just elaborate a little bit on this because that might be a bit new for you. So EQUIS European accreditation, I am Bangalore for the moment, has only this one. ASCSB, American accreditation, AMBA, UK, Singapore. The combination of the three, only 100 schools in the world have achieved that, and we are one of them. In India, I mentioned 3 schools who have that. In ISB, IIM Kolkata, IIM Indore. But they got it recently. For us, it's been the 3rd time we got reaccredited. So it's been 7 to 8 years now that we have had this worldwide recognition, and we had people auditing us again and again to double check that we are consistently improving our systems for the best standards in the world. Okay, we didn't stop there. We have programs that are among the top 100 in the world in the Financial Times ranking, in QS, in finance, for instance. We are 23rd best master in finance in the world. Our bachelor is 2nd best in France, which is not a small thing to say, knowing the competition we have again. So make no mistake, you're going to a place of excellence and worldwide recognized. We are located in Rennes, which is probably a new place for you to consider. We also have a campus in Paris, but the bachelor would be in Rennes, and it is a better option to start a journey to Europe. It's better to be in a smaller city anyway. And when I say small, scale is there again. You would consider Paris as, I don't know, being Mumbai, and Rennes would be Pune. But instead of having Paris next to the sea, we are the one next to the sea, 45 minutes away from the beach. We have been having the metro since 2002. We were a city of 3, like people big, already getting the metro. Now we have 2 lines. All right, Pune just got it. I don't know if it's yet there. I have not been there this year, but it was constructing. Anyway, we have an international airport in Rennes, catering to 1 million passengers a year. We have the bullet train to Paris. So though the distance is a little bit more than Mumbai, Pune, it takes only 1 hour and a half to do it. And you have trains every 45 minutes. So it's like going from, I don't know, the airport in Mumbai to Colaba, for instance, if you're from there. Right. So really, it's a great place to start. You're not going to miss out on your Paris experience by being there. You're not going to miss out on European experience from being there, but it's going to cost you half less to live there. 650 euros per month, which is approx 6 lakh INR a year. The current exchange rate, 6 to 7 lakh, is a bit on the higher side, but that's still really manageable, I believe. And here I'm talking about the full budget for cost of living. So yeah, it's a great place to start from. The region where Rennes is located is the first touristic region in France, so it's absolutely gorgeous all around, and so much that Amitabh Bachchan himself has a house over there. All right.
That's amazing.
I'm sure I'm gonna get I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of questions about careers, so I will keep it for later. Let me finish on telling you more about the program. A bachelor of 3 years, 1 year with upGrad, so that you can comfortably, wait for your certificate, of your 12th certificate to come, have a year to adjust to a new rhythm of studies and your autonomy, your new autonomy that you got. And then you come directly in the second year of the bachelor in management with us, and you do second and third year with us. You will still get 2 internship. You will have access to quite a lot of, a fantastic environment. Here you have an example of our brilliant Indian alumni from this bachelor. She's from Mumbai originally, now she's in Pune. She came after Cambridge board, and after a year she didn't know any French, by the way. She doesn't know French today neither, by the way. But after a year she knew that she wanted to become an entrepreneur, and she started working using the incubator of the school, and she created a company called Wiggles. She was not yet 21 and not yet graduated from the bachelor. She was already in the list of the 30 under 30 of Forbes Asia, and she had raised 5.8 million euros that year. She clearly is an amazing alumni. We are very proud of her, and she could be, an inspiration for one of you. It's something that we definitely nurture and want to develop among our students. For the 2 years, so 1 year in a certificate of business with upGrad, in year 2, these are the kind of course, you start with a business game. You'll have a lot of various different courses that allow you to really get into, you don't have to choose a minor in the second year already. You will be exploring more. But you're also going to have an applied project management to do for reciprocity with NGOs. So it can be very various things. I have, one of the students that were presented in one of the slides earlier, Rajas, who was from Nagpur. He worked for an association that raise funds every year, once a year, for the medical research for rare genetic disease. And they have for 1 day, 24 hours, activities happening everywhere to raise funds. And we're talking about millions of euros. So with a group of students from the second year of the bachelor, they had to sell the seats in Formula One cars for 24 hours challenge in Le Mans circuit, an internationally renowned Formula One circuit in France, and to animate a village for the day. And in a day they raised 35,000 euros. Wow. So imagine how much of an impact it has on a person when you do that young, you're part of such an adventure. But there could be, different things. And after, so you are in class from September to March, then you have a 4 to 6 months internship to do. Yeah, quite a long one. And therefore, companies are likely to give you a real exposure a chance for you to explore the kind of function you would like to finalize your specialization in the last year. And the last year, you have a few courses that are compulsory, like international HR, international negotiation skills, entrepreneurship and innovation management fundamentals, international business environment, business ethics, project management and strategy. And you will be having to choose between 3 different specializations: finance and banking, marketing, or purchasing. Okay. On top of that, of course, we teach you French throughout the 2 years on the site. All right. Everything would be in English. Okay. That's it for me. I was been speaking a lot, so probably will just be looking for the questions.
Yes. So if I may add to your presentation, which was really great. We got a lot of new insights, I think, I hope, for the audience too. And I just wanted to add something about the curriculum. So the first year, so just to clarify the pathway that we have established between upGrad and Rennes School of Business. So in year 1, you'll be studying offline on campus in Mumbai, and this will be for the duration of 1 year. So you'll be obtaining a certificate in business and management skills after completing 1 year. And you will get courses such as marketing and management, business entrepreneurship, etc. There are some elective courses available which allow you to choose from, well, cross-disciplinary fields. So you could, for example, choose a fashion design or a fashion elective, or get introduced to more programming languages. So it's quite a diverse program, but definitely the majority is related to business and management. After completing this 1 year and obtaining this certificate, you will get the opportunity to study with Rennes for indeed the 2nd and the 3rd year, and then get a degree from Rennes School of Business.
Yeah, so which is a French government degree, by the way, so
yes,
fully recognized in India as well.
Exactly. So you will get 2 accreditations, the certificate, the Indian certificate, and the French university degree.
Yes. So there were a lot of questions.
Yes.
Do you want, I don't know, how do you want to go for it?
I think we can answer them, some of them live, actually.
Yeah.
So one of the questions is about the entry requirements for the bachelor degree.
Okay. Yeah, so very good question. Thank you.
Yes.
So you can come from any board. That's not a problem. You need 80% minimum in your 12s. We look at the past 3 years, certificates and the transcripts anyway.
Yes.
And you can come from any kind of board. That's no problem. You can come from humanities, science, or commerce. It doesn't matter. But yeah, 80%. If you've been in a board like CBSE, ICHC, etc., those that are English in English medium of instruction fully, we won't be asking for an IELTS. Otherwise, we would be asking for 6.5 in IELTS. Okay. We can also provide our own test, by the way.
Yes, and if you decide to opt for the pathway program through upGrad, you will also need to complete the certificate with a minimum of 60%.
Yes.
So I think that was very clear. Now we also have a couple of questions about the MBA options in France.
Sure. Sure.
Could you maybe shed some light on that?
Of course, yes.
Thank you.
So nice to hear that some people are interested also in those programs. So the MBA first, what we call MBA in Rennes or in any AMBA accredited school, are necessary programs that require experience, 3 years minimum. Just like the IIMs in India, you cannot do an MBA unless you have quite a number of years of experience. So, okay, unless you if you don't have that kind of experience, what you might call MBA, we will call it Master in Management or Specialized Master, but pre-experience, okay? So you are welcome to join for any of those. For this, you need to have a minimum of, you need to be first division in your undergraduate. And for most of them, we welcome profile from various backgrounds. Now, for instance, if you wanted to get into a master in international finance, if you have never studied finance before, that's going to be complicated. Okay. But there are quite a lot that are more versatile, that I've even passed for profiles that are non-business in the first place. But if you want to get into data and business analytics, we will still be looking at whether you're strong in maths, because this is a science, not an engineering course, before all. So it's maths related, statistics to be exact. So we look at that in the first place. And you should not be, for the first time, doing some coding. And when I'm saying that, there are people who have done commerce and have done a little bit of SQL or, or Visual Basic, and that will be okay with us. We'll train you for the rest anyway. Okay. So most of the programs do not require GMAT or anything like that. The only one that would require one is GMAT, is the Master in Management, sorry, the 2 years program. And there are reasons for that. That is because the French students that are getting into this program, they have to go through a tough selection with a national-wide competition. So we needed to have, some sort of test to kind of balance, when we welcome international students, but it doesn't have so much of weightage. So I will not give you a score that you need to reach there. It's just a requirement, a formality eventually. The principle is that if you're already strong in your academics, this would really be a formality to have those tests. So that's what I mean by that. For IELTS, same thing applies that for the bachelor. So we don't need it if you studied, from secondary onward in English medium, provided, of course, your grades in English score, in English modules is good enough. Though, of course, if in 12 you had 50% in English module, there's a problem. But if you were over 80%, there's no problem in this case for someone who has been in CBSE and this kind of boards. All right. I think that sums it up. Yeah,
Yes,
I could give
definitely.
more details about a specific program if you have one in mind.
No,
All
I think
right.
that definitely answers the question. Or moving to the next question, what is the situation like? Could you maybe share with us a bit more on the situation in France, maybe the political stability even? What are things that students would need to, keep in mind when studying in France?
Okay, so we have a president that has been re-elected a year ago, so he's there for 4 more years, and his relationship with India are very strong. He's I think a moderate person, so I guess that's is a one of the major leader in the world. I mean, just like Modi would be today, backing, in fact, sorry, Narendra Modi. I need to be more respectful than that. Sorry about that, Mr. Narendra Modi. So yeah, I mean, these are strong leaders on the international platform, but we are a democracy, so we are allowed to not to be agreeing on everything that the government says, and we are allowed to demonstrate and to be protected when we are demonstrating. And as you know, we Europe in general is at war with Ukraine, not with Ukraine, alongside of Ukraine.
Yes.
It's not exactly true. In fact, we're not at war, but we are supporting Ukraine, in currently. And there are, temptation from some countries to put pressure. So yeah, I mean, it can sound, I mean, the media may give the impression that there are a lot of troubles here, but I'm here, in fact, and I can tell you all is good. I think it's pretty normal that, you know, in a country where you ask people you know, to work 2 years more in their career, but they're not going to be super happy about it, even though they voted for the president this way. So it's normal that they're trying to get, you know, a better deal, I would say, by demonstrating. And yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with this. And they need to do it in a safe way, which has been the case in most of elements. And sometimes you get people that are coming from different countries that are coming and trying to you know, disturb things. That's it. It's very safe. It's great to know that you are allowed to not to be you know, agreeing on everything that your governments
Yes.
believe. I would say
And
so.
that's
That's
not
all I've
only
been
the
saying.
case in France, it's actually the case in a lot of European countries. The effect of the freedom of speech, the freedom to
Hmm.
demonstrate peacefully, as you correctly said.
Yes,
So this
and to be protected for the same, because that's the reason why
exactly,
you have policemen everywhere. It's just they're making sure
exactly.
that those people that can do it and come back home safely.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes,
So
this
yeah, you
happens,
should
but
not be
in
worried. Yeah, in fact, I mean, what you will see also is that the government has last year decided to invest 100 billion euros in developing the train. We are really going into that ecological transition, and there are many ways you could think of that, and we're not all agreeing on how it would work. So at some point, there were people thinking that we should stop nuclear energy, and finally we realized that we still need quite a lot of nuclear energy, and it's probably a safe way, you know, of protecting the environment in a way. I mean, of course, you can always debate that, but
yes,
currently it's more the status quo that is coming, and that means we are also in capacity to develop train that would require more electricity. We are on the way of developing electrical vehicle, which means electricity, so nuclear power can help for this, without for us to depend on other countries that may not be, you know. So it's a complex thing, and I'm happy that everyone feel in to debate so that we get
definitely,
the best response, the most specific one.
definitely,
So don't
definitely.
worry, that's my point.
Yes,
There
and this
is
is also
stability. Uh, yeah.
sorry. This is also a good moment to say that our government, the French government, is actually very supportive and welcoming to international students, and there are more programs taught in English, and a lot of institutions have even started including like French culture or French language. They've started adding these sort of subjects to their curriculum, making it easier for students to integrate. So I don't think there is a need to worry about well any instability when it comes to politics.
No, 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 no.
Yes.
Clearly not.
And also with especially for international students, for postgraduate students who would be eligible for post-study work visa, as Maud already mentioned and showed during the presentation, there is a need for
Yes.
skilled graduates. There is a need to fill. There's a need for people to fill a lot of jobs that are quite significant contributors to the economy. So yes, I think it's safe to say that there's no need for you to worry about that.
No, for sure. For sure. And a lot of innovation is coming here. So there are French companies that are developing great, you know, innovative things. In Rennes, in particular, we have the cybersecurity hub of France, and they would need also to develop themselves internationally. So they would need people
Yeah,
like you who can bridge the gap, you know.
exactly.
So language in general would be a big asset in your career. I can tell you, I graduated from the school in 2004 from Rennes School of Business. I've been in HR most of my career since then on 3 different continents. I've worked for the FAO, I've worked for Procter & Gamble, for Adecco in New Zealand, and for the past 12 years, I was in India overlooking South Asia region for different, in the tourism sector and now in higher education. I've never checked the GMAT score. What I've checked though were real skills and attitude, of course, but also language skills. And that would make a big difference. So consider this as a real opportunity you're having to get into the country, be very comfortable, living there as an English speaking player, but learning French on the side and making a point of being able to speak French by the time you graduate. It's not absolutely required. I have a lot of Indian alumni who didn't make this effort, but what a big investment in yourself you're making if you're doing that for yourself. It would really make a big difference, even if you come back to India. I'm part of the Indo-French Chamber of Commerce, and there is an employment service there that caters to all the French companies that are in India. And what they were saying already a few years back is that someone who speaks French fluently for the same kind of jobs receive on average 30% more of salary. This is what it was. So consider it.
Yes, rather than seeing it as an obstacle, I think we should see it as an opportunity
It is.
that will benefit you for the rest of your life, actually.
Yes.
Now, considering that we have a couple of minutes left, there are also a couple of questions about job prospects, career opportunities after completing the program, the pathway program.
Mm-hmm. So after the bachelor, so you could be starting working, but I have to tell you, a large majority of our students, they move on with their master. In fact, they have the possibility to do a master in 15 months. That's the case with us, and a large majority are doing that. Now, for those who are finishing a bachelor, I can cite you already 2 people who started their own company. You have seen Anushka who was showing there. I can tell you about the person, Laurent, what's his name already? But he's the founder of Voodoo, which is one of the unicorns of France, one of the first. It's a company that, is €1 billion worth, dealing with mobile gaming. So, yeah, I mean, you can do very well as an entrepreneur. We have an incubator, and the companies that were incubated there overall since 2014, when we created it, have raised over 700 million euros. So yeah, it's successful. And otherwise, it's really depend on the kind of specialization you go for. But if you're doing the 2 years, through this program with the upGrad, you would have a minimum of 6 months of professional exposure through internship, and the kind of jobs you could be doing are junior accountant. You can that's depending on again what you're doing, but it could be a junior product manager, communication assistant, export sales representative, webmaster, community manager, junior purchaser, supply chain assistant, things like that. Our alumni have been working for Lakhs, Renault, Hermes, Swarovski, Givenchy, PwC, Total, Natixis, Spark. Enkel, Mediavier. There are a lot of options. So, yeah.
Would students then need, after completing, I understand most of the students do go for their masters after completing their undergraduate degree, but in case they don't opt for the master's program, would they need to have a job offer at hand upon graduating at bachelor's level?
Yes, they would need that. Yes, they would need that to get it. But again, you would have been exposed to at least 2 companies during your studies. You would have been there for 2 years already. Your likeliness of finding something in France or in Europe, let's make no mistake, it's not a visa for Schengen. It's a visa with access to Schengen that you're getting. So you'll still have to go through the immigration process in the other countries, but you have seen, I think I've gave you a good picture of the situation in Europe. Yes, they need you. So you should be able to find an opportunity being already there and having been there for a while.
Yes. Well, thank you. I think that was probably the last question that we could answer within this 60-minute time slot that we have. So I would like to thank you, Maud, for sharing all the great insights about Europe, but also about Rennes and your experiences so far. And I would like to thank the audience for being here, of course. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our contact details are on the website. You can reach out to the student support. You can offer a counseling session, and we will be launching the Pathway program on our website very soon. So if you're interested in studying 1 year with upGrad in India and 2 years with Rennes, obtaining two degrees and one certificate and 1 degree, then I think this is a great opportunity for you. So we will be launching this on our website very soon. And with this, I would like to end this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, upGrad. Thank you, Shinaz. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.